Today we continue our series looking at pairing up new legendary creatures from Battle for Baldur's Gate with fun and interesting backgrounds. This video marks the first ever sponsored video from Patreon supporter Nick. Nick, thank you so much for being a fan of the channel and for giving me the opportunity to build a fun and interesting commander deck. Before we get started, I'd like to quickly ask you to like and subscribe. I've been ecstatic with the growth this channel has had so far, and I'm excited to see where we're going. If you're looking for ways to support the channel directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Dana. One of the tiers is specifically set up for Commander. For only $25, I will build you a custom Commander deck based around your specifications, and even do a deck video on it. With that out of the way, let's get into the video. Nick requested a build around Safana Calimport Cuttthroat, with Dungeon Delver as the chosen background. He wanted a dungeon deck specifically. He asked that the deck budget be between $100 and $200. While looking at the various cards in our color identity with either Venture into the Dungeon or Take the Initiative, I noticed that most of them trigger their respective effects when entering the battlefield. And so, I decided to go for a Flicker deck, where we exile our creatures and bring them back as needed. So let's take a closer look at our commander pairing. Safana Calimport Cuttthroat is a 3-mana 3/2 legendary human rogue with Menace. She also says at the beginning of our end step, if we have the initiative, we create a treasure token. But if we completed a dungeon, we create 3 treasures instead. Dungeon Delver is a 2-mana enchantment that makes it so that every time we venture into the dungeon or take the initiative, we trigger our dungeon rooms twice, so long as we have our commander in play. So, we know our theme and our budget, but before we get into card selection, let's keep in mind our checklist. 50 mana sources, usually split between 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp, 10 pieces of card advantage, 8 to 10 pieces of spot removal, 2 to 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, and 1 sudden I win card. To start, let's take a look at the cards in our deck with Take the Initiative abilities. We have Arakoa Sneak, Ravenloft Adventurer, Feywild Caretaker, Risla Rail Kingpin, Tomb of Horrors Adventurer, Fate's Reversal, From the Catacombs, and Saravox Tome. For our Venture into the Dungeon cards, we're running Acererak the Arclich, Eccentric Apprentice, Displacer Beast, Bar the Gate, Fly, Precipitous Drop, 50 Feet of Rope, Dungeon Map, Dungeoneer's Pack, and Dungeon Descent. To flicker our creatures so that we can get multiple end of the battlefield triggers, we're running Displace, Blur, Essence Flux, Ghostly Flicker, Planar Incision, Teferi's Time Twist, Displacer Kitten, Thassa Deep Dwelling, and Conjurer's Closet, as well as the obvious inclusion, Panharmonicon. We also have a Vela the Nightclad, which pairs nicely with our Flicker build. And we're running a single copy effect in Cephalid Facetaker. And for win cons, we're running Marionette Master, who pairs very nicely with our commander, and Torment of Hailfire. Our interaction package consists of some light thievery with Gaunty Lord of Luxury, Hostage Taker, and Zareth San the Trickster. For counter magic, we're running the already mentioned Bar the Gate, as well as Arcane Denial, Counterspell, Negate, as well as a Narset's Reversal for all kinds of interesting shenanigans. For spot removal, we have Ravenous Chupacabra, Feed the Swarm, Infernal Grasp, Imprisoned in the Moon, as well as the already mentioned Precipitous Drop. Our board wipes consist of Black Sun Zenith and Washout. To help keep our hands full, we've got the already mentioned Fate's Reversal and From the Catacombs, as well as Archaeomancer to recast our Flicker spells, Baleful Strix, Grazalok's Illithid Scholar, Imone, Mystic Trickster, Anawan, the Ruin Thief, Muldrifter, and Mari, the Killing Quill. Our mana ramp package consists of the previously mentioned Dungeon Map, Dungeoneer's Pack, and Saravox Tome, as well as Prosperous Thief, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Talisman of Dominance, Dimir Signet, Sky Diamond, Charcoal Diamond, Mind Stone, Felwar Stone, Solemn Simulacrum, and every Flicker deck's best friend, Peregrine Drake. For lands, we're running the already mentioned Dungeon Descent, as well as Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, Bajuka Bog, Rogue's Passage for flavor and fun times, Watery Grave, Morphic Pool, Drowned Catacomb, Shipwreck Marsh, Ice Tunnel, Sunken Hollow, Temple of Deceit, Mistvault Bridge, Dimir Guildgate, Dismal Backwater, Myriad Landscape for additional ramp, Evolving Wilds, and Terramorphic Expanse for mana fixing, 11 islands, and 7 swamps. So let's take a look at our deck and see how it compares to our checklist. 51 mana sources, split between 36 lands and 15 pieces of ramp, right on target. 10 pieces of card advantage, 13 pieces of interaction, 2 board wipes, 1 piece of graveyard hate, and 2 Sudden Eye win cards. So our deck checks almost every box, with the exception of graveyard hate. And it comes in at a reasonable $150. Now, there are several play patterns in this deck that came up in testing. One of my favorite combos in this deck is Archaeomancer and Ghostly Flicker. With a Peregrine Drake included, we go infinite. This is a well-known degenerate combo, but I'll explain it to newer players so they can see how much fun it is. You cast Ghostly Flicker, targeting Peregrine Drake and Archaeomancer. Ghostly Flicker goes to the graveyard as part of its resolution, which means when Archaeomancer enters the battlefield again, you can pick Ghostly Flicker back up. And since Peregrine Drake just untapped 5 lands, you can do this again and again, much to the dismay of your opponents. Now, as far as upgrades are concerned, you can go one of 2 ways with this deck. The final room of the Undercity lets us look at the top 10 cards of our library and put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield, with 3 +1/+1 counters on it, as well as giving the creature hexproof until our next turn. So adding some bombs like Kozilek, Butcher of Truth, Jin Gitaxias, Core Augur, or Blightsteel Colossus could be fun. We also have a lot of rogues in our deck, so you could run Vorpal Sword, Thieves' Tools, or Cloak and Dagger to help add to the flavor. The decision is up to you. How will you build Safana, Calimport, Cuttthroat? Or which commander did you want to pair Dungeon Delver with? Let me know in the comments below. I want to once again thank Nick for asking me to build this fun and interesting commander deck. It was a challenge, but I had a blast doing it. I also want to thank you, gentle viewer, for tuning in and watching this video. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cute Stuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, there's a link to her Fiverr page below. I post new Commander videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or you can click here to watch additional videos. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time on Commander by Danon.